summer of 1518, the cobblestone streets of Strasbourg became a stage for something that refused explanation. Under high contrast light and long shadows, film noir streets rendered in harsh black and white, a single figure stepped into the lane and began to move. Frau Troffea was neither festival reveler nor troubadour. She was ordinary, a woman whose life had been catalogued in ledgers and whispered gossip. On a sweltering July morning, she started to dance. The motion was not dance as joy, but as seizure. Jerks, sweeps, frantic limbs as if an invisible conductor gripped her spine. Passers-by slowed, cigarette smoke and horse sweat in the air, watching through shadowed doorways. The camera lingers on her face, pale, sweat slick, eyes rimmed with something like prayer and panic, while the city's silhouette presses in. What begins as a peculiar quiver becomes a rhythm that refuses to stop, a small tremor at the heart of a sleeping town. Hour after hour she danced, her shoes filled with blood, her breath came as ragged gasps. The neighbors gathered in doorways, crossing themselves, muttering Hail Marys between the drip of sweat and the scrape of leather on stone. Rumors unfurled like smoke, possession, punishment, plague of the devil. Yet she danced on, eyes wild, hands clawing at air as if to free herself. By the fourth day, the impossible happened. Others answered the call. First a woman who had watched from a window, then a baker, a child trailing a torn ribbon. They did not join by choice. Compulsion moved through them like a current, stealing reason. Whispers turned to panic. Families locked doors while the sound of feet became a low, relentless percussion that echoed off shuttered shutters and stained glass. Men, women, children. Tradesmen who should have been at their stalls, seamstresses, apprentices, were seized by the same inexplicable need to keep moving. The narrow medieval streets filled with writhing bodies, all under a stark chiaroscuro sky, moving to music only they could hear. Footprints darkened the stones, blood soaking the mortar like ink. Some collapsed from sheer exhaustion, only to be hauled up and forced, as if sleep offered no mercy. City authorities watched through windows and from council balconies, tallying bodies and praying for an order they could not find. Physicians took notes, priests burned palms, and market criers sought help beyond the city gates. Within a week, townsfolk counted over 100 dancers, a mass that fed on itself, panic breeding more panic, rhythm birthing contagion. The spectacle became both accusation and plague, a public calamity that gnawed at civic pride and private dread. Desperate for a solution, the city council made a decision that would prove catastrophic. Believing the afflicted would recover only by exhausting the malady, they encouraged the dancing. Musicians were hired, a stage and a clearing were set in the square. Drums were beaten to draw the sufferers into motion. Officials rationalized, let the body purge itself, let the dance be the cure. Instead, the music drew more victims into the deadly cadence. What began as a containment plan turned theatrical, luring curious onlookers and the afflicted alike into a widening circle. The city's attempted control became complicity. The remedy became a fuel that fed the frenzy. Then, as mysteriously as it began, the plague started to fade. One by one, the dancers collapsed into merciful unconsciousness. Some recovered, many bore scars, blisters, lameness, broken limbs, and some did not wake. Montage in high contrast, contaminated grain sifting like ash, admonishing crosses over altars, musty medical texts open to crude diagrams. Each image flares and vanishes beneath a cigarette-tinged haze, suggesting theories born in the dark. Mass psychogenic illness driven by famine and stress, ergot poisoning from rye that convulsed bodies, religious mania and ritualistic excess. Scholars argued, priests preached, midwives shook their heads. None offered a full answer. The stark black and white treatment keeps the mystery unresolved. Final shot returns to the same medieval street, now empty, bathed in softer noir shadows. The camera pulls back slowly as wind moves through ancient stones and a stray curtain flutters like a fingertip. Tonight, the streets of Strasbourg are quiet. But when the long summer shadows gather and the wind whispers through the alleys, some say you can still hear the faint echo of desperate footsteps, an unfinished rhythm that refuses to die.